The current reality in the country today is the lack of cash in the pockets of citizens, no thanks to a policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign the Naira notes and phase out the old currency. The hardship caused by the deadline imposed by the Apex Bank is gradually becoming a national security threat. What is most disturbing is the insistence on a deadline to phase out the old Naira notes without putting in place a robust infrastructure and measures that will make the transition easy. The governors of the APC met President Muhammadu Buhari to find a solution to the present situation. They want the old Naira notes to still be utilized as legal tender until the end of the year.
That is not our request. Is for the deadline to be shifted, not only shifted, but the old currency should go along with the new currency until the old currency dies a natural death, which is possible.
Our fear is that this situation might cause unrest in the country. We also feel it will affect the elections or even cause outright cancellation of the polls. Thankfully, the president has said he will look into it. The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum has also further engaged the president on the matter. We look forward to a favorable outcome.
Senator representing Kogi West in the National Assembly, Smart Adeyemi, says Nigerians may be unable to endure the 7 days grace President Muhammadu Buhari has asked for to enable him appraise the implementation of the Naira redesign policy. The senator says no matter how good the policy may be, the poor masses should not be allowed to carry the pains for the atrocity committed by the elites.
Good as the policy is, it must not be at the expense of the poor masses of this country. There are many local government areas across this country without any banking facility. And many of these people, they have their money at home. As I speak to you, I have on record of people who died because they had no money to buy drugs in the last few days. Good as this policy is, we should not allow the poor masses to not carry the pains of the atrocity committed by the elites. And that's just, I'm here. And I want to tell the president that 7 days is too long a time to effect the change. I've taken a look at happenings across the country. I've been calling people, and I see already there are demonstrations, there are reactions, violently. President Muhammadu Buhari is a statesman, one of those who fought for the unity of this country, and a man who was doggedly committed to the struggle to rule this country. And I want to call on the president that 7 days is too long a period. The pains is much. Every day is as if it's a year to people to bear. Contributed and paid so much for the enthronement of democracy. And some of us do not allow anybody to allow democracy to be derailed in any way, in any form. This is a threat to the peace and stability of our country. And that is what is giving room to interpretation of happenings, insinuations of perhaps there are some people behind this against a particular party. Now, rightly so, rightly wrong. But there are reasons to believe that this is not ordinary.
President Muhammadu Buhari was in Lafia, capital of Nasarawa State, to campaign for the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He told the people in the state to mobilize and cast their votes for Bola Tinubu, assuring them that he is the best candidate that can improve the situation of the country. President Buhari's attendance and speech confirms his commitment to campaigning for the party and supporting its candidates on the ballot.
I am very pleased today to be part of this campaign for Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the governor of Nasarawa State for his second and final term.
Life is politics. In Nigeria, almost every part of our lives is touched by the politics we play. Governance, legislative matters, the economy, security, foreign affairs, internal affairs. Have a feel as strategic plays in the political space determine how we live in Nigeria. The players, the drama, chess piece moves. Be kept informed. Watch analysis of major happenings in the political space and how it affects you. Watch Politics on Sunday.
All right, the deputy spokesperson of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Barrister Hannatu Musawa, joins me now on the program to talk about political issues, especially the APC's presidential campaign. Thank you for joining me, Ma.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, the APC campaign, a lot of people say, let me start right away, a lot of people say it appears as if it is losing steam. Is that correct?
No, absolutely not. It's actually gaining more steam. I think we've got just over 20 days now left to the general election, and we all know that all hands have to be on deck. So together with our two principals, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima, we're giving it the last heave-ho and push, and we're doing everything despite all the challenges that may be coming up.
Speaking of the challenges, that's why some people have said it appears to be losing steam, because a lot is happening in the country. Citizens are facing untold hardship, the currency swap, we've seen fuel queues, even though it's beginning to reduce, I must say. But you know, things are not just as good as it should be for citizens. And a lot of them, when they point fingers at the government of the day and the APC. That's why people say it appears your campaign is losing steam.
Well, these are two things, isn't it? Our campaign in and of itself is not losing steam because of these challenges. We're giving it a lot more effort. We're putting it in a lot more effort to ensure that we're able to overcome some of these hurdles. And I think that all the effort that everybody is putting in is really giving us the sort of gusto that is needed to see that we reach the finish line when we're able to get over the finish line with a decisive sort of victory. And of course, there are things that are coming up with the fuel queue. These challenges, of course, may be an impediment, but it's not an impediment to us alone. It's really everyone. And I think the way that we're looking at it, essentially, for me, from my own point of view, I think it's not so much an issue that is coming up against the party or the candidate itself. Some of these challenges, these are issues that are really affecting the lives of Nigerians. And this encourages our principal more to be able to get into office to try to solve some of these issues that are coming up. These challenges are things that are being targeted at Nigerians. And we're all Nigerians.
Not necessarily the APC presidential
candidate,
it
could be.
As some people are
yes,
saying.
Of course, it's going to affect the APC because we're the party in government. But I think by now a lot of Nigerians would understand that Asiwaju is coming in with a fresh new look, even though, like I've always said in my interviews, that we are part of APC and we want to continue with many of the good projects and things that this particular administration has done. But the areas that there have been challenges, and you can see even within our action plan, the area that there have been challenges, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is preferring solutions for them. Yeah. And we hope that once we get into office, we'll be able to address them effectively. But we're not allowing anything that would if it was things are being put into the atmosphere to try to sort of trip us up, we're not allowing that to stop us at all. In fact, it's given us more of an encouragement to do more in order to be able to pass that finish line and in order to be able to record the victory that we hope that we will in the election.
How well would you say your campaign has been able to explain all of this to the people, and how well are they receiving the message to know that if Ashwaju comes on board, these are the things he would do to improve the situation of things?
You know, on a daily basis, both the candidate and the running mate and also the all the spokespeople are doing all they can to explain. And even people in government, we have people, the governors and some people in the administration who are also coming out to explain that, you know, these are issues that border on things that matter to Nigerians and it matters to us. We're doing that on a daily basis. I'm sat here also trying to make that explanation, and we're hoping that we're able to sort of get through to the public for them to understand, you know, whatever, if there are people talk about there being saboteurs and fifth columnists that are trying to bring impediment to our campaign. But you see, I think everyone can see that if there's anything that is being done in order to impede the victory of the of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think that itself explains that it has nothing to do with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If anything is being done to target him, it explains that he has nothing to do with it. Because if there was anything that the government was going to do to sort of help him, that would be in his advantage. But anything that is to his disadvantage at this point shows that he's not connected with it. So I think that should sort of explain to people and encourage people to support him. And then you have to ask, if there are people within the system that do not want Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to succeed, then you have to ask yourself why. And if these people are doing things to the detriment of the Nigerian public, effectively they're an enemy to the Nigerian public. They're an enemy to every single Nigerian who out there is trying to just get money to be able to do the basic things in life. I was at the bank yesterday and it was a fight to the finish for people to go to the ATM. You couldn't even withdraw money. So it's the public, it's the Nigerian populace that are suffering. And if people are targeting Asiwaju and people are suffering, they've aligned Asiwaju together with the Nigerian public. And then you have to ask why he's being targeted. People there may be fifth columnists or saboteurs in the system that don't want him to get there. And maybe because they're scared of him being there. What are they scared of?
What's they scared
I
of?
don't know. Maybe there are things that they have done that they are scared that Asiwaju would be able to sort of hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the reason why. Why would you target someone if you wanted to support them? They're only targeting him because they don't want him to be there. And if they don't want him to be there, then maybe they have something to hide. And if they have something to hide, then if Asiwaju is the one that they don't want to be able to address that, then I think the Nigerian public needs to support him because it shows that he is the one that probably has the capacity or the ability to go and address these people if there are these sort of people head on.
Lots of commitment from members of the APC, especially the hierarchy. We are also hearing that a lot of these conspiracy, as you want to put it, against the APC presidential candidate is also a fallout of the primary election. And some people who have refused to maybe let go or move on since after the primary election, still holding to certain bitterness against the system, maybe?
Like I said again, if there's anyone in the system that is trying to impede the victory of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and in the way they do it, they are completely bastardizing the lives of the Nigerian public. These people are enemies of the Nigerian public and the Nigerian state in itself. The primary election has been conducted, it's been lost, and it's been won. And people should have moved on. And anyone that does not have the ability to have moved on, you know, it does not portend well, not only for the party, but the country. If you don't have the sort of emotional intelligence required for you to understand that in every election there's going to be one winner and there's going to be losers. And if you lose you need to support the party. And even if you don't support the party, you shouldn't be in a position where you completely try to destroy the lives of Nigerians just to make a point. So, you know, we've done the election, we've moved on. Those in the party that have supported the party have continued the campaign. But no matter what they do, to be honest with you, I think it's gonna take only an act of God to make Asiwaju lose this election. I think with everything in place, and I think that's probably why he's been targeted, because it's very, very obvious to anyone who tries to remove themselves from sentiment that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the front runner, and there's very little that can be done.
Including those in the opposition, Peter Obi, Atiku, they are also laying claim to an easy victory.
Well, with Atiku, I can understand if he feels that he has the potential of being victorious, because I keep on saying this election is between APC and PDP, and not to put down any of the other parties, because in my opinion, everyone has done very well. We have had amazing national treasures, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, Al-Mustafa, Shawari. For me, they are all national treasures, and at some point they should be given some sort of a national award for them to present themselves to the Nigerian public and offer themselves to public service is amazing in and of itself, and it's only someone who's courageous and already patriotic that would be able to do that. So it's a good thing. And in this cycle, I keep on saying it's good. This tapestry has become a lot more colourful, and it's going to reinforce and strengthen our democracy. However, you know, we have to be realistic. And there are certain laws that govern victory in elections. Section 134, you have to win a certain amount of victory across board. And Peter Obi does not have the ability to do that. And there's nothing, I think, that can be done in the next 3 weeks, or just less than 3 weeks, or just more than 3 weeks, that can give, just over 3 weeks, that can give Peter Obi the ability to win in the way the Constitution requires. Atiku has a good opportunity because he has the structure, and I think PDP is already the most established party because it's been there since 1999. So, yes, of course, and Atiku is a strong candidate himself. He's got very strong supporters. So definitely, I think Atiku is a great contender and is the closest, the only, for me, on the ballot is APC or PDP. And as much as we see victory for ourselves, we understand that Atiku is a contender and we have to work harder right to the end. But I think as far as the Labour Party goes, I do not see them. I honestly, on a very, very serious note, I don't see that Peter Obi has, or even Kwankwaso, would have the latitude or the capital or the ability to be able to win in the way that the law requires.
Frankly speaking there. All right, then, lastly, you said it's going to be between Asiwaju Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar. Yeah. And we know that Northern Nigeria will also play a big deciding role in all of these, the votes coming from the north. And you know, Atiku is also from Northern Nigeria, and he's strong in Northern Nigeria. How acceptable is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and the Kashim Shettima presidential ticket in Northern Nigeria?
You know, one thing that has worked in the interest of Asiwaju, it's been very easy to sell Asiwaju in the north, because for many, many decades, Asiwaju has already put in the work. Asiwaju has been a friend of the north. Asiwaju has been the greatest supporter of the north since Shehu Yar'Adua.
Greater than Atiku, a son of the north.
Atiku is a son of the north, as is Shettima, right? Shettima is a very, very strong, very, very popular candidate in the north. And despite the fact that Atiku is from the northern part of the country, he comes from the northeastern part of the country. And there he has his strongholds, and we understand that, and in those specific strongholds, we have to work very hard in order to get the kind of victory that we want. But the real battleground of this election is the northwest. Atiku does not come from the northwest. And
neither does Shettima.
Neither does Shettima. So it's that particular battleground that everybody has to work hard for. And I can guarantee you, Atiku is going to have to work as hard as APC to get the support from the Northwest. You know, Atiku has been a great son of the North, as you said, and Atiku has been a very active political player in the last very, very many years as well. But there's just something missing between Atiku and the grassroots. He just does not have the ability to resonate with the grassroots in the same way perhaps a late Shehu Eradua did and Buhari did. I don't know whether it's lifestyle or maybe the elitist factor that the grassroots of the real grassroots of the North have with Atiku, but he's just not been able to resonate. Even Kwankwaso has that ability to resonate with the North, especially that northwestern region. But Atiku has always sort of struggled in his bid to try to resonate with the North in the way some of the other key northern political players have had. So it's a struggle for him. So it's sort of a virgin ground for all the parties. And for us, this particular election, it's one that has had to go local. So, and this is where you find the likes of Peter Obi and the likes of NNPP are going to struggle, because it's the people on ground, especially the candidates, that are going to have to sort of propel the presidential candidates. And you have to remember that the fate of every single candidate in APC is tied to the fate of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So it's easy for us to be able, because of that structure that we have, to be able to sell Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it's easy to sell him because of who he is and what he has done for the North. Someone that has given a platform for the North, for Atiku Abubakar in 2007, gave a platform to Nuhu Ribadu in 2011, gave a platform to Buhari. We understand who he is. And almost every state that you go to, every death in the last many decades, every disaster, Asiwaju has played a part. He has been giving, he supports orphans. So they know him for that. The library in Arewa House in Kaduna was donated by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So they know him as a great philanthropist in the North anyway. So it's just easy. You go, you say, Tinubu, they already know who he is. So it's not a new person, unlike a Peter Obi, that you have to now go and start telling them who he is and what he has done. Asiwaju has spent many, many decades sort of building human capacity, and I think this is something that we in the North recognize. And you know what? This talk of, Atiku is the northern candidate is given people like us and other northern candidates that want to support Asiwaju a challenge, that we're not going to disappoint Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I can guarantee you, going into this election, only God knows what will happen. But I think the way things are falling, we are going to deliver the North to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in a way that Atiku is going to look at it and really understand that, using that sentiment of a tribe is not going to work. And then, of course, PDP needs to go and sort itself out. It's not even about the fuel queue. They have a problem of 5 renegade governors that are not going to deliver the states for them. So they have that issue. And then, I think I'm convinced we're going to deliver the North for Asiwaju Bola.
Thank you so much. Brilliant political analysis there. Well, I wish you the very best as campaign and politically intensifies ahead of the election. Well, that's my conversation with the Deputy Spokesperson of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Barrister Hannatu Musawa. Thank you, ma'am.